Hey everybody, MotoBlood59 here. Been quite some time since I shot any videos in my dining room, but with my wife working from home, she's been working from home for a long time. Usually I do this stuff in the evening. The last couple of days I have not had time to shoot things in the evening, and I did have time. I was too damn tired. So here I am in the dining room with our AC unit going, because it's going to be 105 again today, and then our worthless cat, one of our worthless cats, sitting in the window. But, okay, how about the Democrats and identity politics again with Kamala Harris? They can say what they want. Anybody can say what they want. The Democrats, the rank and file voters, the elected representatives, it doesn't matter. They're all full of crap if they think anyone other than their rank and file voters, who are brainless sheep, don't realize what's going on. Kamala Harris was chosen for one reason, and one reason only, because she was black, and because she was a woman. I did a video on touching on that. You can go back and look at that just a couple of days ago, and called Kamala Harris the Democrats' only chance, and I believe she is. But already the defense of their racist choice and the reasons they made that, and them defending identity politics and trying to bounce it back onto Republicans, is being set up. That defense is being fortified all the time. It's only going to work with Democrats and probably maybe a quarter of the spineless independents who can't make up their minds which way they want to feel. I'll get into I keep saying I'm going to get into a video about the independents, and I will one of these days. I don't hate independents. I don't have anything against them like I do against liberals and Democrats. But moving on, yes, that is the only reason she was chosen. And it is so annoying to have to listen to the left call anyone, it doesn't matter if you're white or Hispanic or Asian or whatever, or even black, it doesn't matter. If you disagree with their agenda, you're a racist, even if you're black. It's insane. It is insane. But the rank and file Democrat voters, especially the younger people, I would say people 30 and under, are falling for it hook, line, and sinker. They just refuse to see. I always say they're stupid, but I don't know. I just think they just refuse to see it because they become so indoctrinated, especially the younger people. They become so indoctrinated by the public education system and higher education. Higher education is much, much worse. I have a daughter who's 38, and she just graduated from Cal State Bakersfield, and she didn't get like that because she already had her own views and her own way of looking at things when she started going to college. She didn't start going to college till she was in her 30s. But a little bit of it did sink in, and I hear it come out of her every once in a while, but for the most part, she's her own person, and she has her own way of looking at things, and it doesn't appear that higher education had that much of an influence on her way of looking at the world. My other daughters did not go to college. My youngest stepdaughter is going to college right now, and I help her a lot. She asks for my help a lot with some of her stuff, not math, but history, writing, English stuff. I help her out quite a bit with that, and I'm able to see the things that they try to feed her, and then show her, not just through my opinion, but show her in facts and discuss facts with her about how that is an agenda being pushed. And it's helped her out. I told her with one professor who she said is very liberal. She didn't say specifically that. She just talked about the way he felt about things, and he's obviously liberal, probably more towards progressive. Never met the guy. But I told her, she was doing an essay one time about, I think it was public relations or something. I said, make sure before you're done to throw in women's rights and Black Lives Matter. Fit it in there somehow. And she did, and this guy rarely ever gave her great grades. C's was about all she ever got from him. She got an A on that. I told her, see, this is how it works. and get used to it, because it works that way in all aspects of life once you get out in the real world. I worked for Union Pacific Railroad, Southern Pacific to begin with, but I worked for the railroad for 40 years. And they were a hard-nosed, tough people. Written stories about the robber barons. These were corporate thugs. These were people without conscience. And but lately, after I left, I retired. After I retired, my buddies still work there. Screenshots me things that are on the homepage now, and how they're supporting Black Lives Matter, and they're doing. It started with the Black Employees Network, and then the Hispanic Employees Network, and the white people didn't have a network, the Asians didn't have a network, the Native Americans didn't have a network. It was all identity politics, and Union Pacific Railroad, one of the toughest corporations that's ever existed in the history of the United States, is falling for it and is succumbing to it. I never witnessed racism of any kind from management, from bosses, the entire time I worked there. I worked around blacks, I worked around many Hispanics, and I never witnessed any racism, anybody being berated or treated differently for their race at Union Pacific or at Southern Pacific. There were issues between guys down at my level that definitely involved race, going every way. It wasn't just white people picking on other people. It was everything. But that's the nature of young men. It's been a long time since that happened, but back then, that was in the during the 80s. That was the nature of young men. That's what people did to pick fights with each other. Culture has changed quite a bit, and identity politics, though, is reversing that. It's dividing us again. Those guys that used to get in fights at the railroad, when they were done fighting and punching or wrestling or just shouting at each other and beating their chest, generally after work they went and had a beer together and laughed about how they had everybody all excited. But that's not the case anymore. Identity politics is dividing America. It started during the Obama administration in earnest. It was starting to, the Jesse Jacksons and Louis Farrakhan's and Al Sharptons of the world were creating huge rifts in race, because without racism, those guys don't have a job. They become irrelevant. So they are never, ever going to stop pointing at the lines of race, no matter how good things were getting, and they were getting pretty doggone good. And Obama changed that. Obama took sides. He took sides on race. He took sides on everything. He made local law enforcement issues. He involved the federal government in them, which is illegal, but he did it anyway. He had hotlines based on race. If you see somebody, if you know anything about this racial event, give us a call. That totally out of line and totally divisive. It's all about identity politics today. It's really, really, really sad. I myself, if Condoleezza Rice had run for president, or were to run for president, she's far too intelligent for that. But if she had, I'd have voted for her in a minute. A black woman. But anyway, identity politics. What do you think? Think it's becoming a problem, and especially for people who are being elected? Let me know what you think. Comments below. Shoot me an email at motorpoet59@gmail.com. Click on the bell if you want to be notified of future content. And we'll see you all later.